Hello, my brothers and sisters from Africa, in Africa, and those of you from around the world. Welcome to the show. How you guys doing? I hope everyone is fine. So, before we start with the show for today, I just want to ask you guys to do me one big favor by liking this video, sharing it, or subscribe to this channel because that really helps us a lot and we shall forever be grateful to you. So let's begin the show with this story from Gaza that has really broke my heart. For a while now, I have been talking about what the people in Gaza are going through. I have been talking about how Israel has unleashed everything they could on the people of Gaza and how this Israel's war on Gaza has greatly impacted the lives of the people in Gaza. If you see what those people are going through, you will really feel for them. Because I personally believe that no one deserves to be in that situation. No one. Now, we all have understood that what Hamas did on the 7th of October was a terrible thing. We all have acknowledged that. But what Israel is not doing in Gaza doesn't make it any better. They might say they are going after Hamas. They might say that their whole intention in Gaza is to eradicate Hamas, whatever that is supposed to mean. But we have all seen the number of people who have died as a result of this onslaught in Gaza. At this point in time, I think people must call it the way it is. I think it's high time that the West stop sugarcoating this thing in Gaza. I think it's high time that America actually walks the talk because they have always said that they are fair, they are honest, and they have always done what was honest. But from the look of things, that is far from the truth. That is really, really far from the truth. What they have said and what they have done has been two completely different things. Totally different. Totally different. So let's get through with this Al Jazeera article that gave us some insight into the situation in Gaza and how many people have died so far. So the headline reads, more than 100 killed while seeking aid in Gaza. Overall death toll passes 30,000. So the number of people who have died in Gaza as a result of the Israel's war on the people of Palestine have reached 30,000. 30,000. Let me call that one more time. 30,000. And just a few days ago, 100 died or were killed because they were struggling to get aid from a truck. When you subject people to very, very despicable situations, things like this will begin to happen. When you starve people, when you make people feel that they have nothing going on for them, things like this would happen. How can people be having a stampede or be shot at? How can? But let's continue with the story. Gaza health authorities said Israeli forces on Thursday shot dead more than 100 Palestinians as they waited for an aid delivery. But Israel blamed the deaths on crowds that surrounded aid trucks, saying victims had been trampled or run over. At least 112 people were killed and more than 280 wounded in the incident near Gaza City, Palestinian health officials said. The loss of civilian lives was the biggest in weeks. Hamas said the incident could jeopardize talks in Qatar aimed at securing a ceasefire and the release of Israeli hostages it is holding. When asked if they thought it would complicate the talks, US President Joe Biden said, I know it will. Medics in Gaza said they could not cope with the flood of serious injuries, which came as the death toll in nearly 5 months of war passed 30,000, according to Palestinian health authorities. Israel disputed the account provided by officials in Hamas run Gaza, which has been bombarded by Israeli forces for months since the Palestinian militant group's deadly rampage in southern Israel on October 7. The Israeli military said the trucks were operated by private contractors as part of an aid operation that it had been overseen for the past 4 nights. One Israeli official said there had been two incidents hundreds of meters apart. In the first, dozens were killed or injured as they tried to take aid from the trucks and were trampled or run over. He said there was a second subsequent incident as the trucks moved off. Some people in the crowd approached troops who fell under threat and opened fire, killing an unknown number in a limited response. He said he dismissed the casualty toll given by Gaza Authority but gave no figure himself. In a later briefing, Israel Defense Forces spokesman also said dozens had been trampled to death or injured in a fight to take supplies off the trucks. He said tanks escorting the trucks had subsequently fired warning shots to disperse the crowd and backed away when events began to get out of hand. No IDF strikes was conducted towards the aid convoy, he said. The IDF was there conducting a humanitarian operation to secure the humanitarian corridor and allow the aid convoy to reach its designated distribution points. Well, that's easier for them to defend themselves, but I don't think anyone buys that story because you cannot claim to be the righteous person for putting out the fire you started, right? You cannot just claim that, oh, I have helped in putting out this fire, which I started in the first place. Because remember, all these things that is going on in Gaza, Israel is responsible. At least 70% of it is caused by Israel. They reduced the number of aid that gets into Gaza. And by so doing, subjected the Gazians to hunger and starvation. When people are hungry, when people are starving, they turn to whatever means of survival. Now, they deny that they didn't open fire on the people. But other media outlets said they did. And how many times has Israeli authorities lied and they have been caught right-handed? How many times? How many times have they told a story and then the story they told was debunked by private or individual investigators? How many times? How many times? They killed and they deny. And then later on, after a careful investigation, it was found out that they did the crime but deny doing it. It's not new. Israel has been doing this day in, day out. So it's not new. This is what I have to say. America's or Joe Biden's administration is complicit to this war crime going on in Gaza. And they supporting Israel. They giving Israel the blank check. They giving Israel all the support Israel needs. It's not helping them. It's rather making other people look at them as an entity one can't depend on. It's just making them look like an unfair broker. No one can trust them anymore. That is why you can see the Palestinians would rather ask Qatar to assist them in brokering a deal than America, because they know America will never be fair in the whole transaction. They will never be fair. But you guys out there, let me hear your take on this breaking event in Gaza. When you hear of a story of 100 people being killed because they just want to get something to eat, how does that make you feel? When you hear of stories like this, where people are willing to have themselves been killed, to gamble with their lives just so they can get basic food supplies, how does that make you feel? Do you still believe that we are in a world where we have sympathy for one another, or all that has been thrown out of the window? Let us know in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. Please do us a favor, like this video, share it, subscribe to this channel, because that helps us a lot and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that, and like always, see you in the next one.